Hello and welcome to Health Fit, the healthy lifestyle show. Today is all about giving back. There is more to fitness than just health. Fitness is cooperation, support, and friendship. And so today we'll begin with an exercise segment with weights, which will focus on exercises for the back muscles, which can improve posture and upper body strength. Then we'll get involved in the Health Fit kitchen with some nutrition labels and the information they give us. Mika will share more helpful tips on posture. And finally, we'll really get into the spirit of giving back with an inspiring interview. Hi everyone, you might actually already know that I'm a big promoter of healthy spines, healthy back muscles, because that is in fact something that I have personally struggled with in the past. So that is why today we're gonna look at 5 awesome back exercises you can do with cables. Lat pull downs will target the lats. Try using a wide and narrow grip for a different challenge. Make sure that when you bring the bar down, you squeeze and then proceed to extend the arms back up. The seated cable row will target the middle back. Make sure you're sitting straight up before getting started. Bring the arms to the chest and squeeze similarly to the last pull downs. A single arm cable row is the same as seated cable row, except you will be using one arm at a time and you won't be sitting. Make sure the grip is at a shoulder level. Bend the knees slightly, keep the back straight, and pull your arm in. Make sure to repeat on both sides. The straight arm pull down will target the lats as well. Holding a rope, make sure the back is straight as you bend forward at the hips. Bring the arms down towards the hips, trying to keep the arms straight. The upright cable row will target the traps. Make sure your posture is straight and the feet are shoulder width apart. Bring the bar straight up towards the chin, squeeze, and release. I certainly hope that you found those examples useful, and don't forget that all we were using is just cables. You can easily use dumbbells, barbells, a T-bar, and don't forget those all famous pull-ups or assisted pull-ups. Well, that's all for now, so I'll see you later at the Health Fit kitchen. Hey there, this is Health Fit Kitchen. Eating the right foods during the right times and the right proportions is awesome, but it is very hard to do if we don't know what exactly a food is made up of and how nutritiously dense it is. Today, let's take a look at nutrition labels and what they say about the contents of the packaging. Peanut butter, yogurt, pasta, and spaghetti. Those are our products for today. So starting with peanut butter, because you know I love my peanut butter. Let's look at the nutrition label and how exactly we should be reading it. So in the very top, you will see it says nutrition facts, serving size 2 tablespoons, which means that below where you see calories, 190, for every 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, you'll be consuming 190 calories. Right under the serving size of 2 tablespoons, it says servings about 14, which means that in this whole jar of peanut butter, there are 14 servings, so 14 times 2. Then under calories, it says fat calories, 140. So what that means is that from the total of 190 calories per 2 tablespoons, 140 of those calories come from fat. That is a lot of fat. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So as we continue on to the next part of the nutrition label, we have total fat, 15 grams. Now, fat has 9 calories per gram. So if we multiply 9 times 15, we'll get approximately about 140 calories, which is, like it says, calories from fat is 140. 2.5 grams of those 15 grams of fat is actually saturated fat, which is not bad. And there is no trans fat in this peanut butter, which is outstanding. We don't want to eat any of the trans fat. Cholesterol is 0 milligrams. Sodium, 130 milligrams, which is not bad either. Moving on to total carbs of 7 grams per every 2 tablespoons. 2 of those carbs come from 2 grams of those carbs come from fiber, which is good for our digestive system. And as you can see, 2 grams of those carbs come from sugar. So that means that there is most likely added sugar, which we will look at in the ingredients list in just a second. And at the very bottom, we also have 7 grams of protein, which is the reason I love peanut butter so much, but it also tastes so good. All right, at the very bottom, you will see there's some vitamins. So we have vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron, which are actually minerals. Well, there is no vitamin A, C, or calcium in this peanut butter, but there is 4% of iron. Now, 4%, that is because it is part of your daily value of percent. So you can get 4% of your daily value of iron from 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. Cool. All right, and notice also there's a little asterisk and it says percent daily values, or DV, are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So it depends on how much you intake. But if you intake approximately up to 2,000 calories a day, then this percentage will be correct and would apply to you. So let's look at the ingredients list at the very bottom. It says roasted peanuts, sugar. Our second ingredient is sugar. A little bit more on that. Let me just finish reading the ingredients list. Contains 2% or less of molasses, which again is sugar. Fully hydrogenated vegetable oil, which is either rapeseed, cottonseed, soybean, and of course salt, which is our sodium, the 130 milligrams. So in an ingredients list, when we look at it, the ingredients that are at the very top are the ingredients that there are the most of in the container of the product. So obviously roasted peanuts, it's peanut butter. It makes sense to be the main ingredient to be peanuts. But the second ingredient is sugar, which is not so good. So we should strive to find peanut butter that doesn't have any added sugar in it. Let's go ahead and check out our next products just for fun. So we have yogurt over here. It is fat-free yogurt. Serving size is the whole container. That's pretty nice. It's actually a pretty good container. It'll fill you up. Calories 100. So there's only 100 calories in this. And this is Greek-style yogurt, which is so much yummier. Total fat, 0 grams. Carbs, 7 grams, and protein, 18 grams. My goodness, this sounds like a very good snack to me. And last but not least, let's look at some pasta, because who doesn't like pasta? Okay, so serving size 1 cup, and that would be 1 cup of cooked pasta. In this container or in this packaging, there are 8 servings, okay? So in 1 cup or 1 serving, there are 210 calories, from which there's only 1 gram of fat, 41 grams of carbs, and 7 grams of protein. Obviously, this is a very carb-based food, if you didn't know that already. And this is some of the reason why it's important for us to look at nutrition labels and to be aware of what exactly we're eating, so that we know when we should eat it, how we should eat it, in order to achieve our fitness goals. Thank you so much for being with me, and I'll see you in a little bit after Mika.
Hey guys, this is Active Updates with Mika, and I'm back today with some more health info to support your active lifestyle. Our focus today is giving back, but let's not forget to also give our back some focus while we're at it. That's right, I'm talking about your posture. You've probably been told at some point in your life to stand up straight or chin up, shoulders back, but why? Well, because having good posture is the best way to prevent injuries and chronic pain, among other things, throughout your whole life. In fact, the American Journal of Pain Management states that our blood pressure, pulse, and lung capacity are some of the things most easily influenced by our posture. This tells us that bad posture can be more than just a pain in the neck. It can actually compromise how efficiently your body functions. Now take a moment to think about your current posture. Are your shoulders, knees, hips, and feet even? Is your chin parallel to the floor? Is your spine in a neutral position? If not, you could be putting a lot of unnecessary strain on certain muscles and joints in your body. So next time you're in front of a mirror, take a look at how you position yourself naturally and think about how you can work on improving any misalignments. Paying attention to your posture is especially important in today's technology-reliant society, because we tend to slouch and crane our necks when we use our phones or other common devices. Research has shown that as your head tilts forward, the pressure that's put on your neck increases dramatically. So when it's in a neutral position, there's only about 10 to 12 pounds of resistance to overcome. But at a 60-degree angle, this weight increases to as much as 60 pounds. So as you can see, posture has a huge effect on how our bodies work on a day-to-day basis. In addition to this, posture is also the most consistently important aspect across the athletic spectrum, meaning that no matter what sport you play or how you choose to train for it, good posture is vital for safe and effective exercise. If you've ever lifted weights, you know how important posture is for good form, and without good form, you're likely to hurt yourself or at the very least target the wrong muscles. Furthermore, having good posture can even improve your mood. Think about how your posture changes with your emotions. When you're happy, you look alert and confident, but when you're sad, you look weak and slouchy. What's interesting about this is the fact that the physical-emotional connection goes both ways. So not only does your body change in response to your emotions, but your emotions are also a result of your body. So this means that standing up straight can actually elicit a more positive attitude even in the exact same circumstances. So if you're not convinced of posture's impact on your physical health, at least do your mind a favor and stand up a little taller so that smile of yours is a little easier to come by. Thanks for tuning in for Active Updates. I'll see you next time. Stay active.
Hello everyone. We have a returning guest today on Health Fit. I hope you remember him from episode 1 when he shared his personal experience with Strongman training in competitions. Today he's back to share how he has been able to incorporate his training and knowledge of Strongman in giving back. Welcome once again, Justin Sulham.
Thank you for having me.
Hi Justin, thank you for being here.
I'm so happy to be back.
Yes, we're so excited to have you back as well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. So, I remember last time when you were here at Health Fit, we talked about Strongman, and you mentioned that many of the events for Strongman are usually oriented around charities and are for charities.
Right.
So, do you do competitions, or have you done competitions in the past that have been for charities?
You know, I honestly, I can't think of a competition that I did that wasn't for charity. Well,
Okay.
I can think of one. It was a pro-am. It was an opportunity to win your pro card against a bunch of pros. So, but aside from that one, and for all I know, there was a hidden charity behind it. They're all for charity, and I do a lot of charitable strongman stuff myself, a lot of solo stuff.
Okay, can you tell me about your first solo charity event?
Sure. It was 2012, I believe.
Okay.
There was a family. I lived in Massachusetts. I'm from Massachusetts.
Okay.
And there was a family in just about 2 towns over from a small town. And the woman, her name is Cheryl Powers, she passed away giving birth, or days following after giving birth to twins.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was so sad. You know, I heard about her husband, and now he's got these 2 beautiful babies, and his wife just passed away, and his world must have been upside down. And I wanted to do something for him. You know, but what could I do? I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I wasn't able to do anything, you know, financially to help him out.
Yes.
So I said, what can I do to help him? And so I had always wanted to do a truck pull for charity, a fire truck pull. For charity, yeah, with a harness and a rope and the whole thing, right?
My goodness.
And so I set it up, or I tried to set it up, and it was actually kind of hard at first. Long story short, I was able to get the truck pull set up at a big town festival. We raised about $2,700, but we did it in about 5 minutes. I only had a 55-foot rope, and I needed a little bit of slack on the end, so it was a 50-foot truck pull, and I just did that 3 times. You know, pulled it, and then they backed it up. I pulled it again, and I got sponsored for every foot that I pulled it. Right? Like I got, you know, asked the crowd, like, you know, do you want more? Put some money in the fireman's boots, whatever. And so it raised some money for a good cause, and that kind of snowballed in a positive way into many more charity strongman events, whether it was truck pulls or car deadlifts, or I would promote contests. I would actually be the promoter, and I wouldn't compete in them, but I would host them, you know, and they would go towards various causes as well. And if I had to guess, I would say probably between 25 and 30 of them, between Boston down towards Kentucky was the furthest that I traveled for one.
Okay.
From Boston.
Wow, and you still do this?
Yes.
That's
I haven't done it in a couple years, but because when I moved here to Tennessee, I didn't really know anybody. I didn't know any causes that I wanted to get behind. Of course, I've been involved with Special Olympics since I was a young man, so I wanted to make sure that I got them involved in some capacity, but that's what I do. I coach Special Olympics athletes now.
So tell me about Special Olympics. What is Special Olympics, and how are you involved?
Well, Special Olympics are, you know, mental and physical disabilities, and I'm not sure, you know, it seems like the politically correct, terminology for mentally and physically disabled individuals is always changing, okay? But the bottom line is that these are really inspiring and motivational kids, and adults as well. Okay. And so basically what I've done is I've taken my facility, Strong and Fit Strength and Conditioning Center, and I've opened the doors for several hours a week for mentally and physically disabled individuals to come in under my supervision and train at no cost, just to, kind of learn the ins of health and fitness and just benefit, better their lives through, health and fitness. There's no reason that just because they're a nonverbal autistic young man, we have a nonverbal autistic young man that trains with us, he may not be able to verbally describe or express how he's feeling, but I can see it, I can feel it, I get that energy from him. And I know that he's really digging it, that he's really feeling proud of himself. And that's something that's so important as human beings, you need to know that you are important, that you matter, but also that you challenged yourself and that you became better in the process.
Of course.
The mantra for my gym and for my training and for my life is strong mind, strong body, stronger human. And I want people to be more physically capable. And there are no limitations to that. I don't care if you're physically or mentally disabled or if you are, a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. The bottom line is, in some way, shape, or form, you need to challenge yourself to become better. And so that's what I've done with my facilities, opened up my doors to allow them to come in to do that.
What are some of the organizations you work with?
Special Olympics of Tennessee, now that I'm down here, formerly Special Olympics of Massachusetts. Amputee Blade Runners.
Okay.
That's a fantastic local Nashville-based organization.
What exactly do they do?
So, okay. I guess the long and short of it is Aaron Fitzsimmons is the founder of the organization, from what I believe, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, Aaron, but I believe he founded the organization. Basically, the amputee blade runners are the individuals who are either a full leg or lower leg amputation, oftentimes lower leg amputation. The curved foot, you've seen on a lot of marathon runners for amputees.
Yes.
Okay, those are the blade runners. And so where I come into play is I work with some of their athletes where they come up to my facility and I sort of test the prosthetic, leg to make sure that it's stable, that they're comfortable in it, that they can physically maneuver well in it. I'll put them through various physical activities, not necessarily, assessments, but also like a workout. I want them to get their heart rate up. I want them to feel like they trained for the day. But also, and I recently worked with a gentleman from Nebraska who came up and his prosthesis didn't fit just right. And so that's part of it, because he was able to come up and see me before he left to fly back to Nebraska, where he could go back to their office and say, this is where it hurt, that's where it hurt. And then I just send them back my notes as well. And they, we kind of, as a team, as a crew, we pool our information together, and then they make the necessary changes to the prosthesis that they have to. And they're a terrific organization. I've been doing a lot of work with them. And then I do work with several athletes from America's Strongest Disabled Athlete. It's a strongman competition specifically for adaptive athletes.
So just out of curiosity, because you have worked with a lot of people with disabilities and such, with assessments and workout programs and workouts, do you think that there's more of a mental struggle when you are disabled in some kind of way and your body's not necessarily functioning properly all the way at 100%?
That's kind of a loaded question, but I think I know what you're asking.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of it has to do with communication. I think that if they, and we'll use Down syndrome, for example, a lot of individuals with Down syndrome, proper communication or really saying what they mean or what they're thinking can be difficult for them. It can be a challenge. And I see that come out in a negative way. Sometimes I see aggravation and a short temper, but that's common. And so basically it's just, you are patient with them, you are listening, you are caring, you let them know that they are an equal. I never speak to anyone, and I have an athlete that I train with who's missing both of his lower limbs. And why would I speak to him any different than I would somebody who's, completely able-bodied, okay? Right. Because he's got a mind. He's able to tap into it, and he's able to bring his best to the table. Whether his best is the best out of his pool of competitors, okay? Or it's just, just his personal best, but he's able to tap into what his personal potential is. So I think a lot of the frustration comes with them not knowing how to tap into that, or maybe they oftentimes feel like they're leaving something on the table. They feel like they could have tried harder. I hear that often. And it's just to, be patient, work with them, and just try to help them, find that. Take them, through their journey of strength training and help them find that.
So are there competitions with, for example, disabled athletes?
Yeah. Well, so obviously you have your Special Olympic Games, right? But for amputee athletes, well, just all disabled athletes, Chris Faccio, he's an incredible human being, beautiful man. He has dedicated his life on an annual basis to dumping a lot of money into a massive competition for physically and mentally disabled individuals to come up and compete in Columbus, Ohio, for the title of, America's Strongest Disabled Athlete. It changes from America's Strongest Disabled Athlete to America's Strongest Adaptive Athlete. They go back and forth. But he gives them a platform to go out there and to give their best. He provides that platform, which in a lot of other competitions, they may not have that opportunity. And it's not, there's no slight on the promoters. It's that maybe there isn't a big enough pool of athletes, or maybe they don't have equipment for adaptive athletes. They can't accommodate their needs. So he recognized that, and he invested a lot of money into, he made the decision, I'm gonna be that guy.
Okay.
He doesn't do them for himself, he does it for them.
This is more of a personal question. You mentioned patience. Patience is a big part of working with disabled people because they're not able to tap into that mindset that you were talking about earlier. So what keeps you motivated to be able to be patient and keep coaching them?
I guess I've never really been asked that question.
And inspired because you are very passionate about it.
I am passionate about life. I am. I am passionate about passion. Okay, and there's no way around that. I get fired up when I do something that I love, and working with these incredible athletes is something that really motivates me. But I think that where my patience comes from is knowing or thinking back on all of the people who have guided me through my process, and after my spine surgery and multiple shoulder surgeries on my right shoulder. And having to come back from bottom of the barrel, like really down and out. I was either physically down and out or mentally down and out or both. Yes. Thinking of how patient others were with me helps me to be patient with others.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
That does make sense. Thank you so much. Before we go ahead and wrap this up, just going back to charity events, tell me about your shirt.
Okay, so there's a gentleman named Chris Duffin. Chris Duffin owns a company called Kabuki Strength. He's out of Oregon. And a couple months back, he really motivated me. He decided to raise money for the Special Olympics of Oregon. He was going to squat an incredible 800 pounds.
Wow.
But he was going to do it every day.
Every day.
For 30 days.
800 pounds every day for 30 days.
Yeah. And from a technical standpoint, when I watched his numbers, his tempo, his speed, he actually got faster and more efficient by the end of the month, which was incredible because you would have thought it would have been the opposite, where he would have gone to the bottom of the hole and had trouble getting the bar up. No, he got better at it. But it was definitely it was a trying time for him. But he mentally, he was tough, and he said, I committed to this. And he raised thousands of dollars for the Special Olympics and a lot of awareness. He really spread a positive message. And he inspired other people to kind of have their own little movements, for lack of a better word. He inspired movements. He inspired others to go out and do great things in their own lives through his actions. And that's something that I'm very passionate about, and that's something that I try to do myself.
That's beautiful, and honestly, I think that every story you've told us today has been beautiful in its own way. So thank you so much once again for being here with us, and thank you guys for watching. Your story continues to be both motivating and inspiring, and I also want to thank you from the name of all of those who have benefited from your willingness to help. I think what I like the most about your story is that it proves that more can be done with weightlifting than strictly muscle growth. Thank you all for watching, and please follow us on Facebook at The Health Fit Show. I'm Joanna, and we are Health Fit. Stay active.